Ladies and gentlemen, this is Raymond Jewell with Eternal Fire Weaponry and Bladesmithing. Get those nasty things out of the shot. Um, Finally able to upload a little bit of a video. This is the beginning. Actually, I'm halfway through building it. This is a filing jig to take knife blanks and actually run a file to run the bevels on the blanks. Now, there will be a question on why I'm using building one of these rather than using something along the lines of these tools here. And it's a very simple reason. Two very simple reasons. First off, with simple files and the proper jigs, alignment tools and stuff on the jigs, such as this right here, which fits into these holes and can be finely adjusted because of the threads, I could get this to a very fine adjustment to get exactly the type of bevels I want on these blades. So a lot of precision can happen on one of these, even though it's manual. Two, yes, I shouldn't say gold, the bronze standard of blade work is a belt grinder, which is a glorified belt sander, but they run a little bit faster, and you can get into really strong grits, such as down to 36 or even 24 grit grinding belts that are specifically designed for metal. Those are the bronze standard, the beginner standard for most blade work. And the reason why is time. They're very time effective. I can run one of these down through three to five grit grades in about 2 hours, whereas a filing jig can take me as long as 4 hours to really refine the cross section of a blade. Here's the problem: money. I don't have the money to buy a welder that will weld together the frame for a belt grinder. I don't have the money for the contact wheels, things like glorified versions of these things, to run the belts. And yeah, I could build. I could easily, if I had a welder, build a 1x42 or even a 1x30 and get some effective work done on some of these smaller blades. I mean, this guy, get out a measuring apparatus without it falling to the floor. You know, you're looking at overall a 6.5-inch blade right there. The blade itself is 2.5, 3 inches long. A 1x30 is plenty for something like this, with 36 all the way to a 200 grit alligator belt. But then again, that's money that I cannot spend. So for any beginner, anybody who's getting into weaponsmithing, wow, I can't hold on to crap today. For any beginner in weaponsmithing of any sort, I really recommend you learn to build one of these. There's a lot of tutorials. They'll give you a basic build, and then you can modify it however you want. Mine's built right on the actual blade pad is built right on the edge of the table. So it actually extends beyond, so I had to do some reinforcement, screwed it down with some good solid 3-inch wood screws or 4-inch wood screws. No, sorry, 2.5. I'm sorry. Some basic 2.5-inch general purpose wood screws. Everything's really solid. I mean, I'm shaking the entire bench trying to pull that off, so it's really good and solid for what I'm doing. simple eye bolt as a guide for the guide rod, which the file gets lashed to, and then it's just a simple system of running a file just like I'm running this rod. And then there's going to be a couple, few, probably quick bolts dropped into here, or even just screws with some brass sheeting around them to help keep from ruining my files. That will help guide the depth or the extent of how far I'm filing, as well as give something that the blade can actually cinch up against to and be solid. It's made so that I can take a bar clamp, lock it down here, so that once it hits those little stop bars, it doesn't move anywhere. This blade, I know I can run all together in about 2 hours, half an hour each for both bevels, the initial cut, and then the fine grinding and sanding in about 2 hours. That's not really that bad for something this size. So, if ever you're wanting to get into what I do, which is being a weaponsmith, think about building one of these first. This will give you an idea of how to properly gauge your cross sections, which is this direction, your bevels, and your edge profile. All of these things, and ultimately also your geometry. You can set up little jigs to help determine how to cut your actual blade profile with files. All of these are very important when it comes to how the use of a blade and how well it works for that use. So, by the way, another slight aside, and I'm going to turn the camera towards me and get some light on my face because this camera kind of sucks. I have a table this year at the OKCA Knife Show here in Eugene, Oregon. If you get the chance to, you can travel, or you're in the area, please come check us out. There is going to be some video of me at the table. I'm going to make sure of it. And hopefully we get some sales. That's what all this work is about. And frankly, I just hope to get my name out there. This is not necessarily to make sales. It'll be nice. Hope it happens. Fingers crossed. But this is more to expose my name with Eternal Fire Weaponry and Bladesmithing. And hopefully get some business in that can get me out of this crappy ass shop and crappy ass house that I'm in. By the way, fuck you to the people who rent to me. You guys don't know how to take care of houses. Hopefully put us into something much better. More video. There will be video tutorials in the future. As I said, 2017, this year, the fall of this year is when I hope to put out my first episode to what is called The Art of War, which is a show that I've been trying to develop for a couple years now, several years since I was in Hermiston. And hopefully, well, this is a year of first. Let's make it so. My name is Raymond Jewell with Eternal Fire Weaponry and Bladesmithing. May your creative fires burn ever brightly. Sorry, been a little while since I've said that. Take care, everybody.